What if I told you that one of Hollywood's most private stars stopped a live talk show with just a few quiet words? The cameras were rolling. The crowd was laughing. Jimmy Fallon was in his usual groove, jokes flying, smiles everywhere. And then, Keanu Reeves leaned forward. He said something so real, so emotional, so unexpected, that it froze Jimmy mid-sentence. No cue cards could help. No jokes could save the moment. For the first time in Tonight Show history, everything stopped. What did Keanu say that made Jimmy call for a break on live TV? This is the moment that shook the internet, and it all started with one honest sentence. The show was going smoothly. Laughter, cheers, the usual fun you'd expect on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. Keanu Reeves had just walked on stage, greeted warmly by the audience, and settled into the conversation with his usual calm and gentle demeanor. Jimmy was cracking jokes, showing old photos, and asking lighthearted questions about Keanu's latest movie. Everything was easy, comfortable, and familiar, until it wasn't. Keanu suddenly shifted in his seat. His posture leaned forward, and his expression became serious. He looked Jimmy straight in the eye, the smile from moments ago now gone. Then, with a calm but heavy voice, Keanu said something so raw, so deeply personal, it felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. Jimmy's face fell. The laughter died instantly. The audience, who had been clapping seconds earlier, went absolutely still. There was no music, no jokes, no camera panning, just silence. It wasn't dramatic in the usual TV way, it was real, authentic. And that's what made it hit so hard. The mood in the studio had shifted entirely, and everyone could feel it. What had Keanu just said? And what made Jimmy, always the quick, witty host, freeze on live television? Let's rewind and find out. It started off with smiles and the kind of energy that only Jimmy Fallon can bring to a stage. The audience erupted in applause as Jimmy, with his trademark excitement, announced, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the legendary, the humble, the unstoppable Keanu Reeves." Keanu walked in to thunderous cheers, waving gently at the crowd with that modest smile he's known for. He took his seat, looking relaxed but ever so grounded. Jimmy kicked things off by showing a picture of Keanu riding a motorcycle and asked with a grin, "Still doing your own stunts?" Keanu gave a soft laugh, the kind that says he's heard it 100 times but still finds it amusing. "If I fall, I fall," he replied. The audience burst out laughing. They continued chatting about John Wick 5, the intense training, some funny behind-the-scenes moments, and even a light jab at Keanu's timeless look. "Are you secretly a vampire?" Jimmy joked, leaning forward with a playful smirk. Keanu gave that mysterious little smile, not confirming or denying, just letting the joke float in the air. But then, as Jimmy turned the page of his notes, the energy shifted. Keanu's face became still. The playful mood faded, and something deeper began to stir. Jimmy asked, "You've done so many action films. But is there a role that truly changed you?" For a moment, Keanu didn't respond. He looked down at his hands resting gently in his lap, almost as if searching for the right words in the lines of his palms. The cheerful atmosphere that had filled the studio just moments earlier now felt noticeably quieter. Then, lifting his gaze and locking eyes with Jimmy, Keanu spoke, softly, but with a weight that silenced the entire room. "There's one moment, not from a movie, but from real life." His tone shifted the energy completely. Jimmy leaned in, sensing something real, something raw was about to be shared. The audience, already still, now seemed to collectively hold their breath. Keanu went on, "Years ago, I lost someone very close to me. She was the love of my life. And right after that, I lost our daughter." A soft gasp spread across the studio. Even the band in the corner sat frozen. Jimmy's face dropped. His eyes widened with shock, then softened with empathy. Keanu's voice remained steady, strong, yet hollow. "People think I'm quiet or distant because I'm shy," he continued. "But the truth is, pain teaches you silence." And at that moment, silence taught everyone listening. For a few moments, Jimmy tried to regain his footing. He smiled nervously, glancing at his cue cards, as if the next segment could somehow reset the mood. But Keanu wasn't finished. His voice, though calm, carried the weight of someone who had lived through unimaginable grief. He looked out, not just at Jimmy, but seemingly through the camera, and said, "We all lose people. We all hurt. But the question is, do we learn to live for them or just without them?" The room, already silent, felt even heavier. Jimmy's usual quick wit deserted him. His voice cracked slightly as he responded, I didn't expect this." You could see it in his face. This wasn't a moment he could laugh through or transition out of. Keanu leaned back slightly and gently said, "None of us do." It wasn't a dramatic line meant for applause. It was a truth that landed deep in everyone watching, whether in the studio or at home. Jimmy looked off camera, almost unsure of how to proceed, then turned to the crew and quietly said, "Can we take a quick break?" The screen faded to black. No applause. No outro music. Just silence. A moment so real, so unplanned, it paused one of the most upbeat shows on television. When the show returned minutes later, the energy in the room was noticeably different. The bright lights still shone, the set looked the same, but something had changed. Jimmy sat with a softer expression, no longer the upbeat, fast-talking host, but someone visibly moved by what had just taken place. He looked into the camera and said, "We're used to laughs here. But sometimes, the most powerful moments come from truth." The audience, though still quiet, began to applaud, slow, respectful, deeply touched. Keanu gave a small nod and smiled, a sad but sincere smile, and added, "Life is not about what you have. It's about what you give, even when you've lost everything." It was a simple line, but it hit hard. That single moment was clipped, uploaded, and instantly began spreading across the internet. Within hours, it was everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Millions of people who had never paid attention to talk shows or celebrity interviews suddenly saw a side of Keanu Reeves they'd never seen before. Comments poured in. One user wrote, "Keanu is not just a legend on screen. He's a warrior off screen." Another shared, "This made me cry. I lost my brother last year, and what he said gave me peace." And perhaps the most powerful comment of all, he stopped a comedy show with one sentence. "That's how you know it was real." If this moment moved you, even just a little, thumbs up, give this video a like. It helps us share more real, powerful stories. Speech Balloon, tell us in the comments. What did you feel when Keanu spoke those words? Mobile phone with arrow, share this with someone who needs a little truth today. Bell, and don't forget to subscribe for more moments that matter, the kind that remind us we're all human. Thanks for watching. See you in the next story. Red Heart.